How's everybody doing tonight? Well, this puzzle is not doing good. I've lost a lot of motivation for it. As you can see here, this piece, actually right now it's in place. Sorry. It's somehow magically in place right now. And this piece at the bottom is not straight. This piece at the top is broken and doesn't stay on. Basically, this puzzle is not going to be, it's never going to be a musical instrument. It's damaged beyond repair. I've actually never assembled a Ugears puzzle and had it work 100%. And this one looked like so easy. I mean, it's only 573 pieces. It's like so simple. Just make 8 hammers and 8 keys, and it's, it just looked like basically one simple structure repeated 8 times, and there's a little crank there. I just thought it would be no problem, but it's garbage. So I'm going to keep building it, but we know it's not going to work. So sorry. I know that the correct thing to do in terms of video making is to just stop doing this puzzle and go on to something else, but I'm going to finish it even though it's garbage and it's not going to work. I'm going to finish it anyway. All right. Page 29, is that where we were? Did we do page 29? I don't think so. I don't think we did it. What are they even talking about on page 29? The first thing on page 29 is like they want us to look at it or something. I don't know. What do they want? See what? That's stupid. Like this? I don't know. I don't know what the hell they want. I think we're supposed to maybe look at it from this side. Maybe that'll work out. Let's see here. Does that look like the picture? It doesn't. How did they get this little gear on top? Alright, now it finally looks like the picture. Alright, so I guess this is C3. This is C1. This is C2. And C4 is just that little whatever thing. I think they're making something transparent. I think they're making this piece transparent for the purpose of looking at it. You can see, like, kind of over at this left edge here. You see how it's like transparent? I think they're trying to say, pretend this isn't here. Anyway, all these broke the piece. Remember yesterday we were saying don't spin it or you'll break it? So I guess we forgot that and spun it again. I forgot that and spun it again. I think I'm just, if you like Ugears puzzles, enjoy them. I don't mean to say anything against them. But apparently I don't have the skills that it takes to complete a Ugears puzzle. So, I don't know if I ever will. For me, it's depressing. I shouldn't say depressing because, I know that if you claim to be depressed around Hillary Clinton, it will give her license to end your life. And you'll say, oh, it was, tragedy, when really it was a different kind of tragedy. So I'm not depressed. I'm happy. I have many things in my life to be happy about. But Ugears puzzles, they never work. And I don't know why I keep doing them. You can, fine. You want to say that it's me, that I'm the problem? Fine, but I can just say that I've done plenty of puzzles from other companies and I've been able to complete them. So other companies are able to build around my incompetence. If Ugears is not, and if you have the skill to complete Ugears puzzles, then that's great. That's great for you, and it's great for Ugears, and I wish you all success together. I've yet to assemble one correctly. Alright, so 59 and 60. And this is going to be pretty simple here. I'm just going to push one onto the other. So yes, my life is very happy. I just don't have motivation for this puzzle because I know that it will not be completed. Alright, I'm going to put the 59 back on the left side because once you put it together, you can't tell which side's which. So I'm just going to put it that way. Alright. Where's step 1 and 2? I guess they were on the previous page. Alright, step 1, step 2. So step 2 was huge. Step 3 is just just stick those two pieces together, and then step 4 is the seemingly unrelated stick these other two pieces together. So we stuck 59 and 60 together for step 3, and for step 4 we're going to stick 62 and 61 together. And I feel like I need to preview. Yeah, I thought so. And then for step 5 we're going to put on 4 more 62s. I don't know why that's 2 steps. That could have easily been 1 step. Anyway, let's count both 4 and 5. You know what? I think we can count 6 as well. So, I mean, fine. It's 3 steps, whatever. But like 4, 5, and 6, you're really just building one piece there. You're taking 61, you're sticking in 5 62s, and then you're capping another 61 on the other side. So that's 7 pieces. That brings us to 338 pieces total. And let's go find those pieces. 2 61s and 5 62s. That's what we need right now. There's our 2 61s right there. Now we need 5 62s. This is sheet 3, so maybe sheet 4 will have them. That's sheet 1. This is probably sheet 2. Sheets 1 and 2, I think I should move to the bottom of the pile. They're pretty much empty. Alright, yeah, I see the 62s. They're on sheet 4 here. So there's the 62s. There's 3 of them. What do we need? 5 of them? There's 2 more at the bottom of the page. There's 2 more there. So we're going to punch out those 5 62s, and then we're going to put them all together. So I don't think yesterday we got to the theme, which was going to be self-education. And I think speaking and writing, have we discussed that yet? When you speak or write, I'm not saying you have to do this for speaking and writing. There's many times when you don't. If you're writing like a mystery novel, you probably don't need to do this. I don't know why I picked mixed mystery, maybe romance or something like that. So a lot of times you don't need to do this, but if you do this, what I'm about to say, there'll be educational benefits. So when you write a paper or a book or a short story or a tweet or an X post, whatever they're called these days, basically when you write anything, a speech, let's say you're drafting your speech that you're going to present, you should think of the counter arguments along the way and try to either answer those counter arguments or present your question in a way that it doesn't seem to trigger those counter arguments. And I'm not saying to do this as like a way to win an argument. I'm saying to do this as a way to see issues from all sides, because that'll make you smarter. What does smart really mean? It will make you smarter because it's making you think. And anytime you use your brain's becoming better at doing its job. But it'll also make you smarter in the sense that your brain will be filled up with more information. There's some people that say the information is already there and you just need to recognize it. I mean, that's more of a philosophical point. It's not like the information is in your brain already, but maybe it's like the information is undeniable once you see it. It's like when people say you can't unsee it. I think that way about inventions too. I'll use a very simple example, the wheel. The wheel is a very old invention. None of us were here when it was invented. It's hard to imagine a time when the wheel didn't exist. But when you see the wheel, you instantly understand its purpose, and it doesn't feel like anybody should need a patent to use a wheel. I mean, it seems like it was just meant to be. And you might think that it doesn't look that way regarding mobile phone communications. And there could be two reasons for that. One is you haven't studied and understood all of the inventions that exist between speaking to someone in person and Skyping to them over a mobile phone. If you haven't sort of followed all the inventions, digitizing speech, bouncing off relay towers, error correction code, rendering codecs on a phone, if you haven't studied like all the intermediary inventions, then it may not seem that obvious. It may seem like magic. But if you have studied everything, then you see it and it looks obvious. But it may not look as natural as the wheel, and one reason for that could be that it's not done yet. For example, when you used a rotary phone, the rotary phone, you would like ding 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 ding, like ding 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 ding. It had all the numbers on the disc, and you would like try to dial. You might look at that and think like, this can't be right. Like, I remember thinking that. I remember when I was a kid looking at a rotary phone and thinking, this can't be right. It was the current leading technology, but you knew that it was going to be better. And the next one was beep, 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 where you press the buttons on the phone. They were like physical buttons. And now, I don't know, you click on the person's name or you talk to Siri and say call whatever, and we're probably still not there yet. But the rotary phone, I'm going to bring it up on the screen. Everyone knew that a rotary phone was like not correct. Let me do rotary phone GIF, because then maybe you'll get some motion of how the rotary phone actually worked. All right, so there's a person using a rotary phone. I mean, these were the phones when I was growing up. This was not like a theoretical thing. This is really, it was so annoying when you had to redial a number, or sometimes you just got the number wrong because it wasn't very precise and you would just dial some random person. But yeah, that's the way we dialed phones, when I was a kid. It was pretty stupid. So that could be another reason that that an invention doesn't feel totally natural, because it's not fully developed yet and you sort of sense that. All right, anyway, we built this stupid thing. So that was instructions 4, 5, and 6. Instruction 7 is we're going to take the 2 pieces that we already built and we're going to add 2 more pieces, which is 63 and 11. 11, we've been using 11s all along. So we're going to use another 11. It's basically a locking pin. The 63, I thought I saw the 63 as like the last piece still on one of these boards. Where did I see that 63? Yeah, there it is. I remember this banana looking piece. And by the way, there's an 11 also on this board, and this 19 I'm sure is an extra. So I think board 3 can go to the bottom of the pile. There's only extras there at this point. All right, 63 and 11. By the way, that little piece in the middle, this piece, they want it sanded and waxed. All right, I'm going to move this to the bottom. What do you think? Any of these others ready to go to the bottom? Not really. I don't think we used that 73 yet. So that can't go to the bottom. And we didn't use 83. Yeah, those other 2 boards, even though they don't have many pieces, they're not ready to be abandoned yet. All right. So I thought they would want us to sand and wax the 11. And you know what? I'm going to sand and wax it. But they want this piece sand and waxed. Is that crazy? They want it. Yeah. Trying to get it smooth. It's not quite smooth yet. I'm also keeping it with the 59 at this end. Just, to match their orientation, though I'm not sure it matters. All right, it's smooth. Let's add the wax now. Again, I'm not really sure why we're adding wax to this piece, but there we go. It's done. This piece I'll wax as well. All right. So take the banana, stick the 59 into the low end of the banana. There's no instructions about the direction of it, so I guess if it goes in, then you've done it right. All right, that's on. All right, and then this thing that we built, that goes on too, and then we lock it all on with an 11. Excuse me. Pretty simple, right? You know what? Is this going to be that knob? Remember on the instructions there was that like knob? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what this is. This is going to be how we crank the player piano using this piece. I'll show you what I mean in a second. So here's the piece. I mean, get a good look at that piece. All right. Now, let me show you the box. Check this out. That's the crank. That's the knob that we just built. We're going to be like, we're going to be cranking that thing. Kind of like the rotary phone. Yes, you got it. Just like the rotary phone. Yes, I will be attempting to answer you, even if you're watching this video 50 years from now. You don't need to worry how I'm doing that. I'm going to release an hour-long documentary. Maybe it's going to be 4 hours. I don't know. And I don't know when I'm going to release it. Let's just say a year from now. But whatever. When I release that, then you'll see how I do that. All right, so 64 and 65. Those are the next 2 pieces up. And we're just going to clip them together. It's like pretty easy night so far. Just like get two numerically sequential pieces and clip them together. That's like all we're doing tonight. There we go. There's 64. There's 65. Oh, sorry. 64, 65. That scoreboard is always like exactly where you don't need it. It has quite a talent. I'm going to use this tool to get the pieces out because, I don't know. There was a few nights ago when we built this like player piano section. There was 198 pieces on one page of instructions, and I think we did, I don't remember, let's call it 220 pieces for the night. And basically my thumbs have been like raw since that because we were trying to do them really fast, you know, to get it done. And that was not really a great idea. I lost track of which is 64 and which is 65, but they look different. This is 64. The one that has like a solid body looks 64. Is 64. Do those look like wine flutes? A little bit, maybe. Anyway, they go together in a strange way. Not a strange way. It's going to make sense once they put together, but like head to toe, I guess you would call it. But it's going to slip on, and then the heads will be together and the toes will be together. But you initiate putting them together by sliding it up the bottom, head to toe. And then you hear the little click when it goes in, and there we go. We've got our little, I don't know, throwing club, Indian club. What are those things called? Bowling pin? Well, if it's a bowling pin, then we have to put it like this. Now it's like a proper bowling pin. There's our bowling pin. If we put it like this, then it's a wine flute or a tiki torch or some such thing. But whatever. All right. Are we on a new page? What page is this? Yeah, this is page 30. Sorry. So we were on page 30. And actually, that's the only thing those are the only two pieces we're doing on page 30. So there's step 1. Click those two pieces together. And then we've got a step 2. And step 2 is just take that bowling pin and stick it at the bottom of the player piano. And I guess we can guess that when we turn to page 31, that step 3 will be somehow hooking this knob to this, which is, oh, by the way, look at this. It's come off. We knew it was going to, and it did. All right, so this club has to go here somehow. Yeah, okay, I see how. There's like 4 pieces there, and we're going to attach them to those 4 pieces. It's going to be tough because we can't really support it from the other side. Let's just try to get it in there. All right, I think I got it in. Oh, yeah, I feel it moving too. All right, I'm going to pinch this one together. So keep an eye on that. Let's see if we can make that move. We can. We can. This is cool. So I guess this knob is going to attach next. How? Like this? Or the other way? I don't know. Let's see. So that's it. That's page 30. Let's move on to page 31. Page 31. What did we miss? They're showing the knob attached to this piece. But see, this piece and the knob? Yeah, there we go. It's supposed to attach there. How did we not do that? What did we skip? Okay. We skipped 8. We skipped step 8 on page 29. So let's go back to step 8 on page 29 just for a second so we can throw this knob on. Oh, that's going to make that QC that was kind of boggling us before. It's going to make sense now because now that this knob is on, we can QC the pieces spinning. All right, so let's do that. There we go. Ah, but of course we knocked this piece out again. When are we going to learn our lesson? When you spin the knob, this piece comes out. At least until it gets like compressed into something. I don't know. Something needs to happen that's going to make that piece stay in, but it hasn't happened yet. So we now have to play with it again till we get it in there. Probably when we were testing that knob, I could have put my thumb behind this piece and then it would have like stayed in. I don't know. Just have to get this lined up. It's not quite. Something's not right. Yep, something is not right. Okay, now, how about now? All right, let's see if I put pressure back there. Yeah, that works now. I'm just keeping my thumb behind this piece so it doesn't pop out. All right, what next? Go back to page 31. All right, we're going to put this on the side. Ah, man, look at this. When we put it on the side, it's going to pinch this in place. So remember we were saying we need something to hold that in place? Well, here it's coming. So like 2 nights ago when we broke this piece, that was totally unnecessary. We could have waited until it gets pinned, I guess, into here probably. Let's see. All right, let's see here. Okay. There's 2 like obvious connectors. This bowling pin piece and this piece out here. So, where do they go? This piece is going to go to here. It's going to go to here. I don't know where the bowling pin piece is going yet. Probably to here. Ah, that's the piece that keeps falling out. So it's probably going to stop falling out once it's on the bowling pin. But we have to get it on there first, which is probably going to be tricky. Let's go for the bowling pin piece first. We'll get the other piece second. I see that bowling pin piece as more urgent. What just fell off? Oh, that piece that always falls off. Yeah. That piece is garbage. Trying to get the bowling pin on. Then I'll worry about everything else. It's on, by the way. And then we'll do this piece. And then I'll worry about that top piece. That's the piece that we broke 2 nights ago. Garbage. Alright, that's on. What's the problem about this falling off is these combs. These 2 pieces are like combs. And they separate all the other pieces here. And basically, now we have to deal with that again. So we already like dealt with that 2 nights ago. We failed miserably. We broke everything in the process. And now we have to do it again. Which means we're going to break more stuff. So, that's a shame. I'm only going to take so much blame, you know? The fact that I can do every other company's puzzles but not Ugears means that you can like make fun of me and say it means that I'm not qualified to do Ugears puzzles. Fine. Fine, say that. Enjoy feeling superior. But I'm just going to say that I can't do Ugears puzzles. I can do the other company's puzzles. So, whatever it is, either I'm unskilled or their puzzles are incompetent, but whatever it is, it's consistent across all of their puzzles. So, this piece is now broken. That's the main problem we're having with this puzzle. There's like, other than that, we're doing okay. And I was wrong about this piece getting clipped in. So it's still out there. It's still popping off. Probably we're going to try to play this thing and it's going to pop off. The good news is that piece isn't super important. Like, I think this will work without that piece. But things might not stay aligned as well. I could put the combs in without that piece. I'm not sure if that's going to be good or bad, but it's an option. All right, that's the end of page 31. All right, page 32. All right, nice. What was going on here? We're doing something new. I think we're using these pieces that fell out the other night. Yeah, I think this piece. It's called 66 apparently. So piece 66, so that piece 66, 8 of piece 67, 8 of piece 67, and then piece 68. So that's 10 pieces. So that's going to bring us up to 350. All right, so 8 67s and a 68. All right, there's the 67s. I don't see where's the 68. I don't know why I feel like I probably popped the 68 out accidentally at some point. If I did, it's going to be in a box of pieces, which I don't see it. All right, where's the 68? Is it on here? 74. Yeah, I think it's right here. Yeah, I found it. Okay. So on this board, which by the way, also, this is board 5, and it has a bunch of the keys, the buttons for the keys. Anyway, it also has 68. So let's grab 68. So we got 66, 68. Now we need 8 67s, and then we can start building. Yeah, there's a bunch of 67s on board 4. There's 5. There's 2. There's another. So there's 8 on board 4, which is exactly how many we need. And I stopped counting after I found 8, so maybe there's even more. Okay. 3 more. Wow. That last one came off with a ton of splinters. It splintered itself, and then it came off with like splinters throwing everywhere. Like huge splinters. A few of these came off with huge splinters. What's going on with these 67s? Maybe I need to hit these with the sandpaper a little bit. Seem to be a little... I don't know, they were like gripping the board, pulling off splinters everywhere. Yeah, look at that. There's still some splinters there. That's a splint. No, that's a splintered piece. It is a splinter, but it's also part of it. So we actually broke part of it. I'll put that one in the middle, and hopefully it won't be that consequential. All right, so there's another. There's more huge splinters. Wow. Those 67s were some nasty pieces. All right. Okay, so 66. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. Yeah, we got 8 of these. So I said this broken one I'd put in the middle. So it comes with its own like tab. That'll lock it in there. There we go. Let's fly through this. Should be easy. Oh, there it is. What's those little ridges on the bottom? Well, I guess we'll find out. We're going to connect to something, surely. You know that video from 2 nights ago where I had to delete like 45 minutes worth of crap from it? That video got a bunch of watch hours today. It's almost like because I had it marked private, it's like made it more interesting. But really I marked it private so I could edit out like 45 minutes of garbage, which I've now done. But there's still like probably 30 minutes of garbage in there because I had trouble with both of the last 2 instructions. That's why it's broken on both the top and bottom. And it's like I left in the first struggle, you know, until I got the last pieces on there. And then the last 45 minutes, I was just trying to get everything lined up. And I deleted that. Can you imagine? I spent 45 minutes trying to get this thing to stay on. And as you see, it's still, I don't know if you can see, it's still not on. It's still not on. It's never going to be on. It's just garbage. As I started the last 2 episodes mentioning, this piece is solid. I hope I put the pieces in the right direction. I think I did. So the little like slits are at front. Okay, I think that's correct. All right. Oh, we didn't put the piece on the bottom. The 68. Is this piece symmetric? 3 pins. 8 notches. 2 tabs. I think we're good. Just put this on. It's not as easy as it looks. Yeah, it is not lined up. If I push that, it's going to break everywhere. All right, that's a little better. All right. Got it. I mean, this one popped out when the other one was going in. I had this one in a minute ago. Now it's out. Why it's out, I have no idea. It looks good to me. All right, now this looks like it's going to be, it's again that number 8. So it's going to have something to do with this. Maybe it's going to make it stronger. Maybe it's going to clip into here. You see that? Looks like it. Does that fit in? No, it doesn't. I don't know why I thought that would work. Okay. All right, 33. Oh, we're still building here? So what do they need here? Times 8. So they need this little piece. It's like 70 is the bridge, which is going to thread through this piece, these pieces, and then a 70 on each side. So that's a 3-piece construction, and it's a times 8 because we have to do it for each tab. So that's 24 pieces, and that's the whole of page 33. So that's going to go from 350 to 374. It's a lot of like mass production in this puzzle. All right, that's going to give me a chance to talk again about self-education. Another aspect, I believe, of self-education is to learn various different disciplines, because they end up like you get perspective from one thing and you apply it to another thing. I wish I could think of an example right now. Let me try to think of an example while I punch these pieces out. Okay, I don't know why this is the first example jumping into my head, but it is. So the industry I work in, which is computer forensics, every computer industry is somewhat new. But what was different about computer forensics is we work on a bunch of different cases, and then those cases could have a bunch of different like software that or hardware that we have to collect from. We have to collect the data that's used in evidence. So one of the things that I came up with, because I was one of the people who got there first, and then I was like hiring and managing everyone else. And one of the things I came up with was a depth chart. All right, so here's our 869s. So the depth chart was like, who knows what, and how well do they know it? Like, who's the first place in SQL server, or nowadays there's a bunch of other servers. SQL is actually, that's like, I'll mention the name, though it's meaningless. I don't want to endorse them, but like the top software right now is called Relativity. So it would be like, who's the top Relativity admin? But then it's like, who has collected, I'm just trying to think of what's a new thing that people ask, like WhatsApp. Like, who's collected from WhatsApp before? Or who's collected from WhatsApp from Android? Or who's collected text messages from wherever? Who's done this in the UK? Who's done this in Germany? You know, there's all these different factors. So I basically came up with the idea of tracking who knows what on a depth chart. And I got that idea from football, playing Madden video game, because that's apparently how they manage football teams. It's like there's a bunch of guys with different skills, and like one guy's the punter, but he has played quarterback before, or the other guy is a wide receiver, but he was a kicker in high school. So you want to know that, because you only have so many spots on the roster, and you have all these things that you have to do on any given play, and there's people who get injured and become, like at my company, they're just unavailable, or there's like an ethical wall that doesn't let them work on a certain case, but in football, it's usually injuries. All right, so we have 4, 8, 12, 16. Then we have 8, 24. So these should be all the pieces we need. So that was an example, the Madden and the depth chart. That was an example of taking the skill from one place and using it somewhere else. This could happen in a lot of areas. You could learn a skill in one place and take it to somewhere else. I think there was a big thing. Actually, this is probably a bad example, but again, just the one that pops into my head. Power lifters who went into bodybuilding, or bodybuilders who went into powerlifting. It's like, maybe those are kind of closely related, but they've taken like complementary skills from the other. That one I think was too close to use as an example. Or like, here's a good example, a salesman who goes into politics, or an actor who goes into politics, or I don't know. It's basically whatever you know apply it to the next thing that you work on, and the next thing and the next thing, and build up your knowledge, because really it's all the same. And the new industry just might not have thought of this yet. Like, you might know something. It was actually really perfect for me to go into a field that wasn't developed at the time I got there. It was actually kind of a perfect situation for me, because that's where I do best. Like, thinking up creative solutions to problems that don't yet have answers. And like, I'm sure that was known, because any like SAT or IQ test or math test or like computer programming algorithm, like, I'm sure that it was like known that's my skill, is like figuring out something that doesn't even exist yet, and I'm going to figure out how to not only do it, but to automate it and make it efficient. It's just like something that I have, a skill that I have. And just as an aside, this is like, you know how sometimes people think like there's someone who runs the world? I know it sounds like a conspiracy theory, and when you say someone, it makes it seem like there's someone who that's their job. And there's definitely people who think that's their job, like Klaus Schwab. He like thinks that's his job. But what I think it's more like is Adam Smith, when he called it the hidden hand. Like, to my answer, when I say, oh, because they're trying to save money on shipping or something, and someone will go, who is they? And to me, the answer to who is they is whoever sees and takes advantage of that opportunity. I mean, they doesn't mean, or Adam Smith's hidden hand doesn't mean that there's secret people. Like, some people thought, oh, like Napoleon took pictures with his hand in his pocket. He must be part of that hidden hand team. No, that's not what it means. It's more like market forces. I mean, you can't defeat the market. You can't like engineer something. They try all the time. Like, they're trying right now with those EV cars, but like it's like not adding up. It's like they say you're going to save the environment, but then they're strip mining materials to make a battery that only lasts a few years. They're saying like it's cleaner fuel, but then they're plugging it into a wall that's burning the same fuel and inefficiently, and it's burning the same fuel that the car would, but it's doing it, through a plug, and a lot of energy is being lost in transmission. It's being lost during storage, and it's basically not, like someone said, oh, you're going to save the environment by getting an AV, and it turns out that's not the case. So you can't defeat the market, and it's wrong to even try. Like, a lot of times they'll like incentivize things. If the product works, you don't need to incentivize it. And if it doesn't work, you're throwing good money after bad. Like, there's no reason to incentivize it. I mean, if you want to do a coupon at the beginning, fine. But the company that's taking the risk, that's trying to sell the product, they should be happy to do that coupon. They should not need like the government to incentivize, and then they'll want more incentives, and then they'll want it to keep going, and then it creates a vicious cycle of bullshit, which frankly we've been living in for I don't know, possibly as long as I've been alive, maybe longer. Vicious cycle of bullshit. Yeah. I remember they used to teach the cycle of poverty when I was growing up. Currently, we're living in a cycle of bullshit. It's like bullshit on top of bullshit. Oh, I'm not supposed to curse in this series because people are sleeping and it might wake them up. Okay. Exaggerations on top of exaggerations, like rose-colored thinking on top of rose-colored thinking. People just saying the best, whether it's true or not. So what was the topic? Oh, the topic was learning different skills, because you never know what's going to be translatable. And by the way, everything is going to be translatable. That's another theory that I think we talked about on another night, which was pick something and study it to the end, because all roads lead to Rome. No matter what you study, it could be music, it could be acting, it could be maintaining nuclear power plants, it could be waitressing tables. Whatever you choose to learn, if you do it to the absolute deepest dive, you're going to unlock all the secrets of the universe. There isn't one path. They used to have an expression, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. And I think that kind of applies here. It doesn't matter what road you get on, just that you stay on it to the end, and you're going to unlock all the same, you know, secrets of the universe as everyone else. Like, you aren't going to get more secrets by being a famous person or a rich person. You can pick any vocation and you will get there. Which goes the same for, the monks. I mean, I respect religious people, but I have a lot of respect for them, but they're not going to get any closer to God than a night janitor who just does his job to the, nth degree. It's not what you do, it's how you do it, which is not to say that you shouldn't be a monk. I mean, if you want to be a monk, be a monk. But just don't expect any additional knowledge, because there is no additional knowledge. You can get there from anywhere as long as you stay on the path. I got a couple of compliments on the channel this week, which is weird because the previous week I had gotten, I guess you can call them trolls, like people telling me how bad the show is. And then this week I had a couple people telling me how good it was. And then I thought, they could be the same people. Because I didn't react badly. Because when someone insults you, if your reaction is to insult them back, which I know sometimes could be humorous, like that's what they would do on TV, right? And it, and then they'll all laugh and shake hands at the end. But in real life, if someone insults you and you insult them back, what's going to happen? It's like you're going to escalate, and it's going to get further and further. Violence begets violence. Violence can't be the answer to violence, because if both sides view violence as the answer to violence, you're going to have escalating violence. There was a movie, I think it was called Ants, where they had a war, and there was both sides fought until one person was left. One side was totally obliterated and the other side had one person left, so they had won the war. I believe in studying war in West Point, they would call that a Pyrrhic victory. It's like you won, but at what cost? I mean, everybody was wiped out. You didn't win anything. You both lost. It's kind of like, what's going on in Ukraine right now, which is very unsettling. I mean, I don't talk about it much on the show, but I mean, too many people died. Way too many people died. Too many people's houses were destroyed. Too many economies were destroyed. Too many petty crimes, or even non-petty crimes. There's probably people getting murdered in Ukraine, by their neighbors, because their neighbors you know what? There's a war going on. I can murder this guy and nobody will even know about it. And I'm using the example of murder, but how many other sick crimes are also happening? Because people are like, it's war. I mean, it's terrible. When a war goes on, a lot of stuff, I mean, yes, first of all, it's right from the top. Someone saying, we're going to war, that's already bad. The war itself is already bad. But the chaos surrounding a war enables a lot of other horrible things to go on. I'm not going to make any personal. I'm not going to go into it right now. You can look into it for yourself. It's horrible. War is horrible. And then even, so that's like the war itself is horrible. The criminals taking advantage of it is horrible. And then there's also the acts of desperation, because a war is going on, supplies are dwindling, and people are having less, that they can depend on. And then what sort of things do they do when they think that they're in survival mode, Does everyone keep their ethics at that point and their morals and everything? I don't know. All right, so page 33, we built this thing, and I think we succeeded, right? Yeah. So 8 times 4 is 32. So there are like 34 pieces on that page. Not really a big deal. Anyway, that's done. What are we doing now? Are we adding like a rubber band or something? What is going on page 34? I'm not even sure. Let me zoom in here. Nylon thread? Nylon thread? 230 millimeters? And then what? I'm not, sometimes they'll tell you to cut the thread, and then you need extra thread to like tie a knot. So I'm not going to cut the thread until it's in place, and then maybe I'll cut it. 230. What? 230 millimeters? By the way, they give you a scale on page 34. So we can like open up to page 34. I mean, I have calipers that have millimeters and they can open up that wide, but I think, where's the scale? 32, 33, there, 34. All right. So there's the scale. So there's 230 millimeters. All right. So, I did see this thread here. So it's just one big thread, I guess. All right, well, we have to get credit for that. So that now we're at 375 pieces. All right, is it one big thread? No, we're probably going to use this a couple of times. Because there's 230. There's a second 230. There's a third 230, and there's still some left. Maybe you can get 4 out of this. I'm not really sure. I don't feel like cutting it until I know what happens next. So what happens? You notch it on both sides. All right. Do you tie it underneath the notch? All right, let's see how far apart these notches are. There's the notch. All right, the notches are 220 apart. So, and then 30 is just like the width of, 10 millimeters is the width of your pinky. So, I don't know if that's like everyone's pinky is the same size, but it's kind of like the width of a pinky. I don't know. Maybe a little bit less. Anyway, I think we're just going to put it in there and then cut it when it comes out the other end. That's the plan. All right, so one problem with these is they're not wax coated at the end. So they kind of shred at the end, and then they're not going to stay in place. Even if you try to like twist them, they start coming apart. It's kind of tough. I'm going to put it in a little bit further than 5 millimeters. and hope that it doesn't come unwound. It will come unwound at some point. Like, that's kind of the problem with all of these puzzles, is that they're really not going to stay together forever. Like, we're making a musical instrument. This is not a musical instrument that you're going to pass to your grandkids. You're going to play this thing for a couple of days or weeks or whatever, and then it's going to break. And that's the end of it. All right, so we're just going to cut the string now that it's in place. Like, if you cut it in advance, I mean, you're welcome to do whatever you want. I'm cutting it after I feed it through. And I'm not cutting it that tight either. I think I left 10 millimeters at each side rather than 5 at each side. I wouldn't mind to also make a knot or add a dollop of glue. I might do it. I might not. Let's see where this whole thing is going. Get the string out of there. Well, that was page 34. Add string. Mission accomplished. All right. I guess tomorrow we'll advance to page 35 and we'll figure out why we put a string here. I'm John Rapp. This is Just Rest Your Eyes. Good night and see you tomorrow.